My name is Candace Hollister Welch, author of Corruption of Innocence. I am not law enforcement. I have had studies in law enforcement / criminal justice many years ago. Life and my interests had led me into certain circumstances that finishing those studies would have been highly beneficial. Warning, this video is not for those who are under the age of 18. There are real and metaphorically related informations on human trafficking, sexual topics, violence, and alternative life paths. This involves some relationship power dynamics. Also, there is information on behavioral discipline, sadomasochism, erotica mixed with forms of espionage. I take the stance of consensual sexual erotic BDSM with submissiveness to a dominant of my own choosing outside of the bedroom. This means the person that would be in charge would know that they are my dominant. There is mention of God and Satan, but it really is about perceived good and evil rather than a specific religious reference. Obviously, this goes into power dynamics concerning relationships, so some of this may enter other areas of interests regarding certain life paths. So if you are in a situation, this video might help you communicate some of the information to law enforcement in the area or further and beyond that, because this may be embarrassing information for the person going through a hard time. I give you permission to share my video. Hi, Candace Hollister Welch here. Yes, I'm in the raw. I'm not made up. I'm not glamorous right now, and you can see my whole screen. Just showing you, making a video about a little about what led up to corruption of innocence. I feel is one of the elements that led me into a situation of sort of human trafficking that just kind of pushed me in when I was manipulated, which is a form of trafficking. Not like there was years leading into it, and I was sized up for it. I've got genital herpes, so if you know, it's a herpes simplex. I get sort of like cold sores down there in the vaginal area, and it's incurable. Back in 2010, when I met the master, who didn't want to say he was, but he stood back and waited till I had to leave my marriage. Anyways, sized me up for my sexual health. And it gets grosser yet because he found out how I got it. And then being that it's a criminal act that had occurred, relied on the psychological, wanted to rely on psychological failure on my behalf when everything hit the fan after moving in with him. So human trafficking with mental and verbal abuse, manipulation through knowledge. I have the information. I have control over you. That's blackmail. So
There is no shame in it for me anymore. I mean, like those days, there was a little bit more of an embarrassment and afraid to come out and say something about my health condition. I'm way past that. I, in fact, embrace it and find it like it's actually it is a double-edged sword. Um, so it helps ward away those who don't want it, that just don't want to, find love that way. And that's fine with me. But also there is a social stigma related to it because um, I've got herpes. Anyways, the rape, and I'm leaving out another detail. Um, there's something else sexually related to me that does, that's be curable too, but that's just not gonna go there because this is the most important thing. I was raped in 2002, and the person who had organized the event, I never forgave them for 13 years. And that was that. Anyways, so I was hired. Of course, you can ask everybody else. I'm just crazy. I'm just nuts. That's how things go, and I can't say any more details. I mean, I know that some people could connect dots and know things about me, but you know what? Let's do this. I'm serious. So, um, due to the lack of legal help, okay, I spent years through extreme situations that had pushed me into the direction of eventually falling to the streets and falling into systematic help. Okay, is this extreme on the streets and systematic help, and then trying to prove that I was worthy to live by myself and do things without the system help. And that still is kind of in the balance today, I feel, but I don't know. I can't tell you what other people are thinking. And I know that a lot of my credibility had been challenged through all this because I'm going this way, and I'm going stop. I'm going this is not acceptable, and when you do that, it's not always like accepted that you wanted to stop. It's just it's crazy. It's nuts. I just don't understand it. It's like I live in America, where's my freedom to say this is not acceptable to me, and can you be okay with that? Because yeah. Anyways, so I was taken in certain ways to receive state assistance in 2022. This is leaving out what had led me to get to the streets prior to the systematic assistance. So I'm explaining a lot of um, without the fine details. I'm explaining some major stuff, and not everyone's comfortable about talking about topics like that when it comes to taboo topics about sex, and like claims of someone pushing you in a certain direction, and then especially when it comes to like mind control. Um, it exists. Blackmail, yes, it exists. And I feel that this is one of those things, because the more I talk about it, the more others know about it and are prepared. And uh, I just hope that this is like acknowledged and not used in that way, but I can't control that. But I have something to say. I really do. I have something to say. And others might have something to say about it too, and might have something to say about it for their lives. So this is important, not just to me, but for others who might be going through something like this. So, no response has been had um, by, law enforcement. I have not had one word from Homeland Security and others. Not one word. I've written letters, and I've even stated that the statutes are probably passed on this. Well, even if the statutes are expired on this, don't you think you should say, you know what, we got your letter, we got your package, we see this and there's nothing we can help you with. Or write me a letter, say, go get help. But not even that. Not even that. So it makes me wonder what's going on. And is my message getting to you? And why do I have to make these personal videos to feel like I'm being listened to, period? Because those immediate to me aren't responding, don't want to respond, don't want to believe, and won't even come forward with witnesses to certain things. Yes, there are witnesses. So, and I know other people are going through this in the world. So, just saying. Anyways, to get back to the sexually transmitted diseases. Okay. Genital herpes. The big slowly turned into a root of possible social disability because there is no understanding of what has been done to isolate my sexual being that has been so long ago. And sexually transmitted diseases aren't a disability. Okay. And yet I'm finding that my life has been marginalized, not just by the events that have happened, but also my demographics. When I finally separated and got to my own, to the master situation, I was 38 years old. I am now 47. So there is a difference on how society treats a woman who's walked away from a marriage, however you want to describe it, and to one that is reaching of a particular age. And I'm not menopausal yet, but I am reaching the age of menopause. So yeah, I mean, there are certain demographic pressures that happen. So not only do I have what's happened and what everybody says and wants to believe and wants to protect their lives, and some of them are in dreamland. They don't want to face horrible events and then have to deal with that because they have a particular balance they want to have, and the demographic pressures. So yeah, I it's an incredible experience, and I know others have gone through it, and especially if you've gotten to the streets, if you have that behind you, and you're in the streets, you're dealing with what's going on right there. And sometimes when you get out of that situation and go forward and things seem to get better, you still have this way back here to deal with. So it's either going to be an emotional thing, a financial thing, a societal thing, or all the above. And to take that forward and have to come to the light about it, and inform others about, hey, this was unresolved back here. Can we resolve it now? It's just amazing. Some of them will just say it's just traumatic experience, and that you're just not healed. It's like, no, there's actual legal legal issue that never got resolved in the first place, that actually probably put the person on the streets. And I know it helped me land on the streets, even though that my problem was more of an immediate, in the household type of stuff. It helped assist that social dynamic that landed me there. So yeah, I know I'm not the only one that has gone through something like this, and I just hope that me talking about it, um, just helps others, you know. Um, and just like I said, lack of support groups, social stigma, there's demographic marginalization, and it opens up for new challenges in life, which can land you into another situation that could be sort of like what I described. These different things. It's like, how can life be like that? How? And everybody wants a sense of belonging, everybody wants housing, everybody wants to eat, everybody needs health care, and so what that feels challenged, they could go and do things that just doesn't make sense, and you just end up with a cluster of of issues that could last you decades to get out of. So, uh, like there are many common sayings, like the quote unquote, like the history tends to repeat itself. Well, I certainly hope not. And if it does, I hope it does in a more fair way. Now, what I'm saying is, I am an incredibly sexual being, and I've had that kind of taken away from me at around 38 years of age. And I got that whole because, I have to be kind of ethical about my sexually transmitted disease. I have to make sure that I'm not um, predating on people, that I'm not, uh, taking advantage, like their mental health or finances or whatnot. I have to make sure that they're mature to deal with the fact, that they can handle it in a social dynamic, that they're not going to hide and be ashamed, because I've had to come out about this, not just for defense, but also for informity, because I can't just sleep around. um, just a lot of different things. I No protection, no medication, making sure it's a loving relationship if it's going to be a relationship. Otherwise, if it's a fling, and make sure that the person's not doing it to harm others. Because I have come across certain profiles online of individuals who actually want to contract the virus to manipulate lives into sort of like sexual relationships, like hardcore. I want like many sufferers of this virus so they can have a repeat experience. And I'm like, no, that's just not ethical. It really isn't. No, I mean, like, anyways, I'm not even going to go through that. Anyways, I tend to be, I am really a submissive, but all of these life experiences have forced me to um, become a stronger person than I really, really, really wanted to be. And that is kind of described in the front of my book of Corruption of Innocence, and by Candace Hollis Welch on Amazon. And also, um, I have that video that I made recently here posted on YouTube. Now, yeah, I really would love to be submissive in a loving marital situation, um, uh, and not have to uh, work with the circumstances that I've been given in an unconsensual fashion. There's the difference. Consensual, um, non consent is something different. And I'm not going to describe that here. If you're really interested in consensual non consent, you really need to do a lot of research about that, and also be mindful of the law when it comes to that. Because that, that's a sensitive type of BDSM practice. And let's see, because I didn't really mind the rape. Um, what I minded the most about that was that it was not consensual. Um, and the person who said go to it, basically. And but like the sexual act wasn't that bad. Uh, but like where how it began was bad. Um, so you're getting into that whole predator and prey issue. Now, I'm not talking about certain predator prey concepts that exist in this world. I'm talking about no, an actual criminal act, and prey as in victim. So um, it's much different from some of the concepts that I've run into in this world. Now, yeah, when a person says they're submissive, it does not mean that they are open to be taken uh, freely just because someone decides, hey, I'm dominant. No. I, sure, the person might be dominant, but it's not where they're given immediate okay to do this. It's just not good. It's not good. You don't assume, you always get permission. So that's pretty much what I want to say right now. Um, I do want to share that I am on FetLife. Pure Hearted 467. And you'll see that my age, and I'm a subleading switch. Uh, what? Yeah, submissive. I like to be a submissive. I say switch because I've had to be uh, more on top of my life. I mean, a little bit more assertive. Um, uh, I would have to say more assertive, but like on more of an aggressive side, in maintaining my stance and my livelihood. Um, and I am not. Uh, the aggressive side is what disturbs me a little bit because I really don't want to be aggressive. I want to be assertive, and I don't want to have to fight for my life, but that's what it's been like, And as you will see, that I am single, and I label myself as in a common relationship with Princess Sophia. And of course, Sophia is one of the characters of the book, Corruption of Innocence, and she is more of what I would aspire to be more like. But life sometimes is funny that way. Um, everyone knows I came from Facebook first. This is the account that was taken over. So, not just what I had told you, but like virtually, I was taken over. Remember, this goes to slavery, and the concept or the original uh, livelihood or lifestyle that led up to this was the deep discussions of Gorian um, slavery. So, Kaijira or Kaijuru, and a slave owns nothing, only the master, and whatever slaves the master, the slaves that are with the slaves are the masters. So, yeah, I had everything taken away from me. 100%, almost. I have a few items that I came from my home back at Streeter, and I nearly lost everything. The second Facebook profile I have is basically at a standstill right now because I posted the link at on YouTube to hopefully get a little bit of attention for those who might come across it that might have gone through some things like this, um, and might want to use it to, link to the police um, if they've lost their voice, if no one's listening, or there's severe personal differences and disbelief. It happens. It happens. And there is I would have to say right now, a form of social death, and uh, it's life marginalization uh, um, after a while. So, yeah. Yep. Have the crazy zany stuff. I'm into all sorts of things. And I like the concept of littleness too, and being sensitive and submissive. Um, However, I haven't been able to really express myself in those ways through this experience. And yeah, now I'm on Positive Singles, Pure Hearted too. And I have to say it's very, very hard to connect online these days. Um, there just are a lot of scammers. Those who actually socially connect and use you as a social escort until they find someone they exactly want and need. And I'm a little bit disgruntled about that because I figured if you can't tell if I'm interesting to you within the first day or two, um, I would say just kindly let me go, because I'm not a social escort. Um, Also, there are those who harass, will talk, and find your emotional buttons and then push them just because they can. And those who fish for information. So, those who aren't interested really in you, but are interested in what kind of information that you can give them. And I've fallen deeply into that category. Like I said, it just seems like I need to reach out. And also, others might gain some strength through my vulnerability, um, and actually find help for their situation. Um, I cannot say that there is not a social, psychological impact in this, because there definitely is. And you have to learn how to uh, work through those discomforts, and manage the impact that it can have on your life. So that's all I have for tonight. So I hope everybody has a good night, and I'm hoping that this helps someone gain their voice. And don't give up. But if you're not getting any answers, writing letters, making phone calls, uh, I can just say someone knows what you're going through. And take care.